Yo, hell yeah. Wyatt begins in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yo, welcome to Wyatt. And I'm your host, Wyatt O'Brien Evans. Grr, woof, goddammit, woof, 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 woof. Hey, happy freaking New Year, y'all. Happy New Year. Now look, let's make 2025 even more bodacious and bold. You know what I'm saying? Now, to all my YouTubers out there, if you like what you hear and if you like what you see, just click those subscribe buttons at all of the bottoms of your screens. And because I know you loves me, give me some likes. And also, too, I like to know what you're thinking. So, send me some feedback and whatnot. Anywho, today's Wyatt is special. Our special guest is a man who knows all about the ins and outs of Hollywood. He's here to help you become successful and thrive in H-Wood, particularly in the business sense. He is the well-respected and renowned attorney, Mr. Steven Bullock. So all I can say is let's get this thing going. So without further ado, Wyatt, I said Wyatt, welcomes entertainment attorney extraordinaire, Mr. Steven Bullock. Talk at me, sir. How the hell are you?
I'm doing well. Pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you for inviting me.
Listen, Steven, thank you for dropping by. Wyatt, I know you're busy, and I really wanted to have you here, Steven, because it's my understanding that a good portion of your entertainment clients are LGBTQ plus, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And this podcast is very author-centric, so this is going to help a whole lot of people. So, like I said, man, I'm glad you're here. I'll start off with this. Making it in Hollywood can be a crapshoot. Mm-hmm. Nothing is guaranteed. You need more than talent. I guess you need some luck. But Steven, to be ahead in the game, what inner qualities and attributes do you have to have ingrained inside of you?
Well, from an artist's point of view, you have to be prepared to adapt to a given situation. Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting because I have found when I represent artists that oftentimes, I hate to say this, but I have to say it.
Okay.
They're greedy. And I understand why.
Yeah.
Someone may get a deal, 13 episodes, 20 episodes, whatever. Mm-hmm. But after that's done, they got to go back out. Now they're on the hunt again for another deal. And I can say one thing that I'll never forget, and I'm not going to mention the actress's name because I know you know her.
Okay.
But as we were negotiating, one of the things that she wanted was all of the clothing that was provided during the shoot. Now, so to me, that's greed to me. But so what I said to her representative, sure, if we own the clothing, because sometimes you'll rent the clothing or sometimes you'll borrow the clothing. You follow me? So if we owned it, sure, you can have it. But I thought that was a greedy point on that artist's part.
Well, let me ask you this. Were you on the side, were you representing the studio?
Yes. I was representing the studio. Exactly right.
Okay. So what did she do? Did she get the clothes?
Well, she got the clothes to the extent that we didn't that we owned them. But in that particular instance, we didn't own most of the stuff. It was either borrowed or, you've heard of people going to stores, getting something and then returning it. So
right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
yeah. That's what I said.
Was this her first gig or
no? This is a seasoned actress, and if I mention her name, you would certainly know her. No question about it. Yeah.
You want to mention her name?
No.
Well, I tried, everybody. I tried. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that is kind of greedy. So yeah.
Yeah, to me it is. To me it is.
Yeah.
I do understand now, though, when you get a deal, again, 13, 26 episodes, remember when it's over, it's over. So those checks that are coming in, that are nice checks, by the way, when they're coming in, that's cool. But when it stops, if you don't have another gig lined up, there's a problem.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay. I see your point. My brother, you have one hell of a resume. And I've got to share the more significant parts to our audience. I love telling people's resumes. Okay, so here we go. You ready? Ready? You there? You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay. Mr. Bullock, you earned a BBA in business finance and a law degree from Howard University. You've been in private practice for 25 years, practicing in the areas of civil and criminal litigation, including but limited to personal injury, medical malpractice, and entertainment corporate business litigation. Let's see. He worked as an assistant corporation counsel, now attorney general for the mayor of the District of Columbia in the finance division as bond counsel,
Yes.
also as in-house counsel for the Calvert Group, a mutual fund investment company. You have extensive experience in developing small businesses and business relationships.
Mm.
And as a lecturer, you provide invaluable information to up and coming new businesses. You counsel TV and film production companies on various aspects of the business. You've also been an adjunct professor at the Howard University School of Law, teaching entrepreneurship, law, and policy. I feel like a slacker.
No.
I feel like a damn slacker. I mean, man, it's amazing you've done so much stuff. Where do you get what's your muse? Where do you get the energy and the wherewithal to do all of it?
I'm going to tell you, I've been blessed. That's the first thing I'll say, right out the box. Some things have happened in my life that I would have never thought would have happened. And I'll share a story with you really quickly.
Please.
I'm in law school, first year law school. I'm flying home to California, see my mom. Remember, first year, first semester, I'm going back. I get back there. Now I'm getting ready to come back to DC. But my mom says, I want to take you out to breakfast with someone. I said, okay, sure, let's go. Whoever the person was late. I ordered breakfast. The person shows up. Next thing I know, my mother, I can see it in my mind's eye right now. She says to me nervously, this is your biological father.
Whoa.
I met my biological father when I was a first year law student. And from that meeting, I have other brothers and sisters. And this is the hook. Little did I know back then that my little brother and my little sister would become players in LA in the entertainment business. My
Whoa.
brother was the executive producer for Jamie Foxx
Yeah.
and for Martin Lawrence.
Kyle Bentley Evans.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I mean the
Bentley Kyle Evans, but yeah, there you go.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Bentley Kyle Evans.
That's
I mean,
right.
Jamie Foxx, he was the showrunner.
That's right.
He helped create the Jamie
That's right.
Foxx show, and he was the showrunner. He
That's
helped
right.
create Martin,
That's right.
and he's on Bounce Television with I think
Quite a bit. I'm doing deals with him as we speak.
dang.
Yeah.
That's that is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
So it's a blessing. So that's sort of how I got into it. I can remember like it was yesterday. He called me at my office one day and said, hey, look, I need a contract. And I said, okay, sure. But because I wanted to get out of what I was doing.
Right.
And little did I know, the first deal that we did with the network,
Mhm.
I got baptized by fire because I did everybody's contract on the show,
And
including Martin Lawrence.
and how many people total was that?
Oh, certainly a dozen or more. And I mean, because it was everybody, because everybody was working deals because it was a new show and everybody was working deals. And let me just tell you how that worked. We shot 4 episodes, okay,
Of Martin.
of Love That Girl. This was a new show.
Oh, right,
Okay.
right. Okay.
We
Yeah.
shot 4 episodes because now we're trying to get a deal. We go to a network, I can say it was Stars. We met with the execs with Stars. They passed on it. Now, Martin's in the meeting, my brother's in the meeting, I'm in the meeting, they passed on it. So we reached out to TV1 and we said to them, we'll give you the 4 episodes. The only thing we want you to do is do the promo for us. And if it breaks records or does well in that time slot, you order. It broke records. They ordered. Boom. We had 65 episodes in the can.
60,
as of today. 65.
Yeah, because that was the new model that started particularly with Tyler Perry, because
yeah, it's modeled after that. There's no question about it.
Right.
You know, where you can get so many in the can, and it's money. You get 100 in the can. Now you're in syndication, and so the money just continues to come in.
Steven, that was a very savvy move on your part.
Well, it was a blessed move on my part. That's the way I look at it. I mean, you know, again, think about it. I met my brother when I was in law school, and then later on this happens. I mean, you know, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Thank you for that.
Certainly.
Of course, we're going to focus today on your entertainment career.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read you a quote from the website gmtoday.com.
Mm-hmm.
It says this, and I quote, "The iron fist of history seems finally to be coming for Tinseltown. Beyond the financial blows inflicted by the pandemic and the actors and the writers' strikes, the vast Los Angeles-based entertainment industry known as Hollywood is facing far greater forces of economic disruption that have already struck the rest of the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Much like manufacturing, agriculture, and other major segments of the U.S. economy before it, the result for Hollywood appears to be mixed. A possible return to prosperity in good times for some, but ever tighter times for others," end quote. What's your take on that?
That's excellent. That's absolutely right. I mean, there's some that are going to benefit, but let's look at it from I like to say the PA level. Well, those jobs, which are great at one time for somebody trying to get into the business, they're drying up. I mean, it was a somewhat of excess too, you know, in terms of how budgets were spent. I like the fact that you mentioned Tyler Perry, because and actually Bentley as well, part of what would happen is they would crank them out. Okay, we cranking them out, and they just episode.
Right.
Whereas you can get on a network show, and I won't name a name because a network show.
Right.
It might take 2 weeks to shoot one episode, so that's money being spent. Whereas Bentley and Tyler are cranking them out. You know, sometimes 5, 6, 7 a day or more, depending on how things are running. So it's the way you do it. It's just that's that method that's needed sometimes for folks trying to get into the game. That's the method.
Are you saying cranking out? Are you saying completing 5 to 7 episodes?
Yeah.
How in the hell did you do that?
Because what they would do, and this is beautiful, they shoot, and when they shoot and finish, you know, it goes straight to post and editing. It goes straight there. So now you got one in the can, you're doing the next one, but the other one's already being edited, being ready, you know, for television. That's how you do it. And let me just say, I mean, because this is really important. There are some shows with some, you know, quote stars.
Right.
They're spending a tremendous amount of money. I'm going to share something with you. My daughter, who was a PA in LA for a named show.
Okay.
She gave me an example. There was a dance that Janet Jackson did, some sort of a dance, or maybe might have been a couple of lyrics. The amount of money they paid for that 9 seconds was absolutely crazy, but they had to do it if they wanted clearance. And it's that kind of expenditure. Not only was she a PA, but she had a PA that would go and get her lunch.
I love it. I love it.
Right, right.
That's a nice place to be.
That's a nice place to be. Those things are drying up. They're drying up, but there's still opportunities. I'll tell people now. I'll tell you now. If you want to be in front of the camera, for the most part, you gotta go to New York or Hollywood.
Right.
You got to be there, because sometimes people call you on the dime. Can you be over here? And you're not there. You just can't be there. So those are the things I share with people.
Well, what about Atlanta? Because
I'm sorry. Yes, Atlanta's that's definitely in play. Definitely in play.
so
Yeah,
so the trifecta, so to
yeah,
speak.
yeah. Atlanta's in play. It's definitely in play for sure.
Okay. What about streaming? Because wouldn't you think that even though there's an explosion of streaming, Stephen, do you think that there were too much content being produced and it's like the business is like self-correcting itself, and that's why people just don't have the jobs with this contraction in Hollywood? So
Interesting. Very interesting. I would say this: there is a lot of content. There is a lot of content, but I'll tell you this: if you have good content, it's gonna rise. If you have good content, and I like to tell people now, if you ever look at Apple TV,
Mm-hmm.
the shows that they do are put together so well, and I have to give Reese Witherspoon some major credit,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because literally, I hope I'm getting this right. Apple purchased her production company.
I heard that.
I
Yeah.
think it's 900 million.
Yes.
Yeah, and man, just think about that. Just think about that. I mean, and she's still, doing her thing with the company. So you can get lucky. And in fact, there was a young lady, a sister, who had a show. And this is how she was in the room with Reese. And my question was, how did you get in the room with her? But she was an author. Her sister was an author, wrote a book, and it was one of the best shows I saw on Apple. Young lady goes to Italy. I can't remember the name of the show, but she goes to Italy, meets a chef, and he dies. Okay, through their relationship. One of the best, just one of the best. And I wish you could see it. Somebody can Google it. They'll know which one I'm talking about. But the quality of the picture quality was just so great. The actresses, the actors, but again, they're spending money. They're spending. That's when you're spending real money to get that done. There's some good ones out there. I want to tell you, but it's fast paced now. So if it doesn't catch on, then they go to the next thing. They go to the next thing. All of the streaming companies do that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about books later because my
Sure.
novel is Nothing Can Tear Us Apart, Shattered. But anyway, shameless plug, my brother. Nothing can tear us apart, Shattered. I'm writing a new one as we speak.
Okay, there you go.
But let me just add, before I get more into your background, I want to ask you about Tubi. I had no idea that Tubi is owned by Rupert Murdoch of Fox.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people don't know that. So what do you think about Tubi? The direction is going. I mean, because some of the content is just ratchet.
Yeah. It's a platform where everyone tends to get an opportunity. There are people that I know that have relationships with Tubi and others that can get stuff on. And so this is the magic. This is the magic. You do a show. You get it on Tubi.
Right.
Your goal is to tell everybody you know, and to have them to tell everybody they know to watch your show. You follow me? It's exponential. You see, then that's driving people to Tubi, to your show, and then you get paid.
It's like a grassroots effort.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It really, truly is. That's the way you do it on those kind of shows.
Okay. Well, Attorney Bullock, let's sashay down the corridors of time so we can find out your backstory, because we at Wyatt are very nosy. We like to be up into people's business. So
I understand.
Where were you born and raised?
Born in Berkeley, California. Went to school out there, high school, and life is funny. I graduated early,
Oh,
took a job in San Francisco, getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, driving across the bridge to go to work.
wow.
I was naive, just totally naive. I get to work and I finish whatever assignment they give me. I take out a book and read. Lady came to me one day and said, "Oh, no, 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 you can't do that." It took me maybe 3 months
Hmm.
and I realized this is not it.
Mm.
So I went back to my high school, Berkeley High School,
Okay.
and I saw my high school counselor. And he was the person that mentioned Howard University. I had never heard of an HBCU.
Right.
And I sat in the living room with my mom and said, "Look, I want to make this journey." I got into my little MGB and drove across country by myself and made it. And
Wow.
that's how I got to Howard. Yeah.
You have both your degrees. You got both of your
Yes.
degrees from
Yeah.
Howard.
Yeah.
So, what was the experience like at Howard?
Oh man, you touching heartstrings now.
Okay.
See, I've been so blessed, so blessed. I think about the things that have happened to me.
Mhm.
I can even think about when I was in student government at Howard, how the vice president of the school sent me a picture one day and said, "This is for your memories." Now, if I was at Berkeley or UCLA, that vice president would have never sent that to me. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It was the connection. What Howard and HBCUs do for individuals like me and others is it gives you the confidence to know that you can conquer the world.
Absolutely.
No fear. No fear. No fear. You go out and you do it. Nothing to be afraid of because you can do it. And we were this close to having a president of the United States
Yeah.
come from an HBCU.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And certain folks are saying that the orange one won by a majority. He won only by a plurality,
That's right.
and
That's right.
like 1.4% of the popular vote. I mean,
Right.
so
Yeah. It
come on,
wasn't a mandate.
it
Right.
was not a mandate.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to your work in Hollywood, Stephen. What do you enjoy most about being an entertainment lawyer, and why?
I like doing the deals and protecting the client. I like to protect the client,
I like
making
that.
sure that there are certain little things, from options. You get an option to do something else, or there may be a situation where you may have a couple people trying to get you to work, so
Right.
you have to put in that contract. Well, I have an option to go here. I have an option to go there, and somebody's gets first rights. And those are the kinds of little things that you want to protect. Obviously, you want to protect your money. You want to make sure the money's right. And it's an old thing in Hollywood that they used to talk about a long time ago, where if you had certain actors on a show, you want to say, "I want favored nations for my client," meaning
Mhm.
nobody can get paid more than anybody else.
Right.
Okay, so that's kind of important sometimes. And again, I can remember doing deals, and I used to feel bad. Remember, I'm the production side, so I was doing the deals with the actors and actresses council. And
Uh,
I knew that this person was getting X and that person was getting Y, and the Y person was actually better than X. But I couldn't say anything because it was up to their side to try to negotiate and get a better deal.
mm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
It
interesting.
is. It is. It really
Hmm.
is. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, Stephen, I want to discuss how talents can prevent missteps and
Hmm.
avoid pitfalls that
Hmm.
can damage or derail their careers. What are some things that a talent should not do?
A talent should not try to negotiate a deal themselves.
Yes,
That's number. That's
right.
number one.
Okay.
Um, Try to find somebody. At least bounce it off of somebody. Try to talk to someone. This is what happens. Most people are so happy
Yeah.
to even be in the room that "Oh, yeah, I'll sign, yeah, I'll do it," and that's not what you want. And that can be problematic, and I kid you not. So you
Mhm.
to me, I like for the client to reach out to counsel to say, hey, is this what I should be doing, or can you help me? And oftentimes they will, because sometimes you start off with a lawyer and you work your way with that lawyer all the way, and he can work with you, he or she can work with you until you get the big one. And when you get the big one, everybody knows what's up. And I'll share a story with you when we a little later about someone from the DMV that is now a big time actress in Los Angeles. And when I tell you the story, you won't believe it, but it's interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me give you a scenario, Steven. Let's say out of the blue, a studio approach. This podcast is very author centric, so I'm going to use author as an example. Let's say out of the blue, a studio approaches an emerging author to adapt his or her book to the screen for a movie. And of course, the author is so very, very, very excited. Maybe, listen, maybe too excited, but very, very, very excited. You know,
yes, I do. I understand.
So excited. Like the Pointer Sisters, I'm so excited I can't hide it. But anyway, okay, so the author gets this contract, and it looks like it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
What is the very first thing? I know what you're going to say, but I want you to say it anyway. What's the very first thing that said author should do?
To me, one of the first things when you see the deal, well, obviously get a lawyer, but get paid, get something. Get something for your work, because what you're doing is you're taking your work off the shelf, meaning because they want an exclusive, so you can't shop that anywhere else. Okay, so make them pay you some money. It may not be a lot, but make them pay you some money. That now you can say, okay, it's worth my time. I'll give them 6 months. And the other thing I would do is limit the time that they have it. Remember, if somebody wants to do an adaptation, give them 6 months and then give them a 6 months option. Don't give them 2 years. Give them 6. See if they're working, because if they got 6 months, they got to come back to you with something. If they don't, you're gonna say, well, wait a minute. I'm gonna go over here, or I'll give you another 6 months.
Okay. For an emerging author, Steven, what would you say is a pretty good deal, including money and option and like a producer credit?
Oh, yeah, certainly. So the money thing is always going to be negotiable, you know, because it just depends, you know, on the book, on the author, et cetera, et cetera. Options, to me, I like to make my options short when it's that kind of a book deal. 6 months, give you an option for another 6, certainly no more than a year, because again, your book is off the shelf now because that person has exclusive. Think about it for a second. If you give me the option to deal with your book, I may not really look at it for 3 or 4 months.
Damn.
You see what I'm saying? And so, no, I need you working. So if that person is working for you, then they come back, hey, look, we made some progress, boom. And you can also say, if you want another 6 months, I need another piece of money. You follow me?
I do. I do.
Yeah. Again, may not be a lot, but they put something in the game. You got to make them put something in the game. That's really important.
Can you, let's say you sign that contract and you realize, oh, I kind of got the short shrift of the deal. Can you go back? You have to have a lawyer representing you, of course. But can you and your attorney go back and say, look?
Well, you can do that, but all parties have to agree. That's called the modification of the contract. And you can modify a contract if all parties agree. Now, if you're on one side or the other, you may or may not agree. You follow me? So if that other side is willing to work with you, they may say, okay, let's do it. And then you can do it. But in order to modify a contract, you have to have all parties agree to to any changes to the contract, and signed, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It cannot be oral. It has to be signed.
Has to be signed. Yeah. Okay. What about the impact of AI on the industry? For example, Tyler Perry was planning this $800 million expansion to his Atlanta studio. Would have added like 12 sound stages. The property's a 330 acre, but he's holding back because of the rapid developments he's seeing in AI. He said this, being, and I quote, being told that it can do all of these things is one thing, but actually seeing the capabilities, it was mind blowing. And he was
Yeah.
talking about OpenAI's text to video model, and you don't even have to be on location. So,
Wow.
how do you think AI is impacting the industry, and what must a talent do to protect himself or herself?
Let me tell you, it's the new frontier.
Mm.
Understand that it's a new frontier. The
Mhm.
game is changing because there are going to be ways in which you can produce, you can do certain things without having to one spend a whole or inordinate amount of money. And so you have to be prepared. We have to be able to adjust. So I'm not even as up as I'd like to be on AI and what it can do, but what I do know, it can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing, and that's why that's the conundrum that everybody's facing right now. It can be good, it can be bad, so you got to be careful. If you're venturing into the AI space, make sure you have someone well versed who understands, because again, you can see Tyler's pulling back. He said, "Wait a minute, let me see, let me take a look, see."
Mhm.
Okay, because nobody really knows, and it's open. It's a new frontier. It can be good, but I will say this, especially when it comes to writing,
Mhm.
you can go to Chat GPT
I know.
and you can write something out, and you can say, make this sound better, or make this sound legal, make this sound medical. You can do that, but remember, if you do that and you include it in something that you are writing, you got to reference it. You have to reference it because you can get pulled on it.
Oh.
Yeah, you can get pulled on it, and you don't want that to happen. I've actually read about lawyers that cited cases, and they weren't even real cases, and they got in trouble.
Wait a minute. They weren't real cases? I don't
No,
understand. What do you
because the AI made it up, and so when the opposing counsel Googled, I did the research on the case, they realized that case doesn't exist, and these lawyers were very, very much so embarrassed,
wait,
and they got admonished by the judge.
wait a minute though. If it's a real case, wouldn't the AI tool say, at the end say give like a case number or
Yeah, they gave citations. Yeah, absolutely. And when
what?
opposing counsel looked up the citation,
Wait
it
a minute.
didn't exist.
Wait a minute. I'm having a problem wrapping my head around this. Really? So it
Yes,
so the
yes,
so the AI tool
yeah.
created the citation and the
Citation
citation was fake?
did not exist. And when the
What?
opposing counsel got exposed, bam, and it actually happened to, believe it or not, this is Trump's former lawyer, the guy who's going against him now. I can't think of his name, but he apologized because he relied on it. You know, you can't do it. You will get busted if you try. That's why it's so important if you use it to reference it. And by the way, other lawyers need to make sure that those cases exist. And that's what a
Whoa.
good lawyer will do. They will find out if that case is really a true case. One, they have to read it and be prepared for court. But if it doesn't exist, then they can shine. Then, Your Honor, this case does not exist.
I'm blown away.
Yeah,
This is
it's amazing.
this
It's
cray
amazing.
cray.
Right.
Whoa. Gosh. Oh, before I forget, before I move on, you want to talk about that? You want to name that actress that you were talking about?
No, I
That you made
can't do
reference to?
that.
Damn.
I can't do that one.
Oh, all right. That's okay. Oh, look, man. You are an executive producer of a major project that drops soon,
Yeah.
right? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I am truly blessed. I did have the opportunity last night to attend a concert with Kim at the Kennedy Center. It was very nice.
Mhm.
Kim performed exceptionally well. He brought out uh, that's the young lady's name. I'll think of it in a second. But he brought her out too, and it was fantastic. So it gave me a chance to see all the setup. Now, on April the 19th,
Mhm.
2025.
Okay.
I am executive producing a show about this woman, and her name is Sylvia Traymore Morrison. She is the first African American female impressionist. She can do Muhammad Ali, she can do Wendy Williams, she can do black, she can do white, and she's exceptionally good. Now, people are just discovering her, although she's been in the game for 50 years.
How many?
50.
50?
Her manager, her first manager was Red Fox. That was her first manager. This sister has been around for a minute. She went on tour with Whitney Houston, and Whitney told her, "You open and I'm closing." 23 cities. That's how cold-blooded she is, okay? Yeah,
What?
yeah,
Look,
yeah.
you.
So I want your audience to support me and support her. You can go to the Kennedy Center website and go to April 19th, and you can purchase your tickets now. 2 shows, 2 in the afternoon and 7:30. It's going to be very, very special. Very, very special.
Can you please spell her full name for
Sure,
us?
sure. Sylvia, Sylvia. Traymore, Traymore. Morrison, Morrison. Dynamite. And I mean, she was the first female African American writer on Saturday Night Live.
Look, she needs to come on this show.
She does. She really does. She
Yes, she
really
does.
does.
She
does.
well, listen, Attorney Bullock, would you mind making it happen?
I can make that happen. That's a deal. I can make that happen. Yeah. Your audience would be so pleased. I can guarantee you that.
Oh my, that is fantastic.
She is really good. She is really, really good. Really, really good.
I really appreciate this. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple more questions, and I really appreciate your time.
And let me just, it was Lettucey that was with Kim last night. Lettucey.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Got it. Okay. Let's move back. Let's move to Black folks in Hollywood. You know, sometimes we can be the flavor of the month or the flavor of whatever. It's cyclical.
Yeah.
Forces and trends will enable us, you know, our opportunities to explode. Then there's this dry period. What do you see happening for Black talent in the next few years?
You know, it's tough. I want to say that it's tough. Don't get me wrong. There are some really good deals out there, and there are some people in some really good positions that can actually help African-American actors and actresses. I just like to say actors, but it can help them. Okay. However, I'm going to tell you, the talent has to be there. And even that can be difficult. Bozeman, when he spoke at Howard University, he told of a story during commencement. And he said they wanted him to play certain stereotypical roles. Yeah. And he gave pushback. And when he gave pushback, now he's difficult. Yeah. So that makes people shy away. Fortunately for him, he got some breaks and he started doing his thing. This is a story that I told you I wanted to share with you.
Oh, okay.
There's a young lady from the DMV. She's a comedian. I met her on the set of my brother's studio. And we talked DMV. We knew a lot of the same comedians. And what she wanted to do, she just wanted to be a part of it. And so she said, "I'm moving back to LA." Okay. She went home, got her stuff, and moved back. And I can remember, I'm not on social media like I used to be. I can remember watching her, and she would say, "I'm looking for an apartment." Then she would say, "I'm looking for a refrigerator," because I forgot in LA, some of the apartments, you know, they don't have refrigerators.
Exactly.
And then she said, "I'm looking for a hoopty." So I'm watching her grow, right? Then one day she says, "Oh, I got to go to bed early because I'm going to be a PA for the Betty White show." Whoa. I said, "Okay, no problem," right? So check this out. She stayed there. And one night, early, I was working on a case and I'm up late. And I'm looking at this show. And the show was good. And I read the credits. And it said, Yvonne Orji from Insecure. I said, I immediately got on, girl, is that you? And she's blown up. She's a star. She's doing her thing in LA. And I watched that transformation happen. And I'm so proud of her. Just a good person, good heart. I can remember her sitting on the set. And sometimes, remember I said you have to be in Hollywood?
Mhm.
Somebody didn't show up. And so my brother said, can you fill in? Well, she's a comedian. She didn't have a problem. She can read lines. She did. Next thing you know, she's in the writer's room. And boom, you go from there. Yeah.
Wow.
It can happen. Sometimes you got to be there. You know what I mean? So, but to answer your question, it is going to be difficult it will be difficult. It's difficult for a lot. It's a tough business. But if you can get in, the one thing I will say, if you get in, please bring somebody else along with you. Just help somebody
Right.
out. Because sometimes, and I, I'm not going to name names, but I like the fact that there are certain actors that bring their family members along.
Mhm.
I mean, they bring them family members along. I love that, bring them along. And, let them be an associate producer. Because, you find out, well, what does an associate producer do? Well, whatever they need them to do, or him or her to do. Okay. So, but it's a way for them to get a check and get a credit and get an opportunity to do something else. So it can work out.
Look at the Wayans clan.
Right. Perfect example.
That is a perfect example.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are on Damon and his son's new show.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
You know,
He
because
brings them in, right?
Kim is writing for them and
There you
everything.
go. Those are checks. Those are checks they're getting. You know what I mean? And look, right, it is network checks.
So what you're saying is they probably won't bounce
They will not bounce. They will not bounce.
if they're network checks. They ain't gonna bounce.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Stephen, what specific or particular advice do you have for LGBTQ plus talent trying to make their mark?
Be yourself. Be yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Don't please, please
Mhm.
do not be ashamed. And more importantly, the way I look at people,
Mm.
you don't have to let people know I don't let people know who I am. Why you gotta let people know who you are? Just be who you are. And people will respect you more than you will ever know. Be true to yourself at all times. Don't deal with the madness. Be who you are. And whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you just gotta be who you are. And so what I would tell people, just play it straight. Be who you are.
Oh man.
Technically, nobody should be even making inquiries as to what you do. But if they do, this is what I do. Okay, tell them it's okay. But they really should not even be making inquiries. Okay, that's unnecessary. Okay, but for me, I tell everybody that's that's in that community to say, look, just be you. Be true to yourself. I have so many clients, and it's a beautiful thing. We don't talk about that. Well, what are we talking about? It's just be who you are. Technically, I have family members as well. Be who you are. It's no thing. So you just got to know how to play it. Now, I will say this: if you may come off, um, I'm gonna say it this way, extravagant in one way or another, that might hurt. So if you want to be extravagant, wait till you get in, then you can do what you want to do.
By extravagant, I think you mean flamboyant.
Oh, that's a very good way of saying it. That's a better way of saying it. Thank you. Yeah.
You know what? I really appreciate that because I used to do stand-up comedy back in the day in the 80s and the 90s, and I really wanted to do LGBTQ plus stuff, but I felt the time wasn't right. I felt so restricted, and that just cut the career because I couldn't.
But it's changing now too.
It is changing now, but back then I just couldn't put. I
can believe that.
I couldn't put the pieces together.
That's right. I can believe that. Yeah. So it's opening up. It's opening up for everybody. You just got, again, be who you are, and be proud. Don't get me started.
Oh man, thank you so much for that.
Sure.
Okay, my friend. How do us grown folk connect with you? You have like social media?
I'm not a big social media person, but you can always reach me by email, Steven with a V at bullockslaw.com. You got to put an S after the K, even though my name is Bullock, not with an S, but Steven at bullockslaw.com. You can reach me that way. Another way is just go to my website. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, bullockslaw.com. Just type that in. It'll pop right up, and you got me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mr. Steven Bullock, thank you for dropping by. Wyatt, I mean, this has really been educational, elucidating, entertaining, enlightening, all of the E's.
Yes. Let me just say, it's a pleasure to be on your show and to have this opportunity to speak to your audience. Again, if anybody needs to reach out to me, they can feel free to do that. If anybody's interested in the show that I'm talking about, Sylvia, Traymore, Morrison, they can certainly go to the Kennedy Center website. But believe it or not, even though it's in April, the tickets are selling quite well. So
that's great.
That's a good thing. It's a really good thing. 2 shows is really doing quite well. So we're pleased. So I'm just saying to your audience, please feel free to support me, but more importantly, Sylvia, this young lady has been on the front lines for years. And one last story that I just got to share.
Oh, please.
She, a nice looking woman. She's a nice looking woman. And she couldn't figure out how she could get exposed. And she saw a pageant on TV. And she said, you know what, maybe I should do that. She tried to be Miss Black America. She won. Not only did she win, it was tied. 2 people. The first person went to Hollywood, Bernadette. I can't think of her last name, but she was on Good Times. You know Bernadette.
Stannis, yeah.
Stannis, thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. And then she was sent to deal with the troops in Vietnam. She was crushing it so hard in Vietnam. Red Fox heard about her, and as soon as she got back to stateside, said, fly her out to LA. Boom, he signed her. That was her first manager right there. That's the history. I'm giving you some history of how this thing connects. It's a beautiful thing. The Sister's Dynamite. And not only did she do that, she roasted, she was at a roast for Muhammad Ali. And can you imagine? Muhammad Ali said to her, you doing me? How you gonna do me? You know, I said, oh. And she did it. She hit him. She knocked her out the park. Yeah, she's good. She's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And again, thank you for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you again for having me, my friend.
Take care. Yeah. So y'all, there you have it. You can find the official Wyatt podcast page at wyattevans.com, the go-to destination for LGBTQ plus news, features, commentary, and entertainment. Wyattevans.com is visited by more than 100 countries on the regular. All I can say to that is, hey, baby. And at wyattevans.com, you'll find my smoking hot, HAWT hot, Nothing Can Tear Us Apart series of novels. And as you just saw on the top, the newest installment is called Shattered. I said Shattered. And y'all, Shattered is full of action, danger, intrigue, sexually charged situations, passion, and all of the wonderful elements that you're used to in the Nothing Can Tear Us Apart series of novels. So get your new copy of Shattered. Now you can follow me, your host, Wyatt O'Brien Evans, all across social media, and poof is right there for you to peruse, like TikTok and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And if you have any comments or whatever, you can hit me up at wyattonair@gmail.com. So until next time, y'all, woof, goddammit, woof, 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 woof. I said woof.